Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday. Time for our Disability Digest YouTube live session with our special guest today, Cassie, the dog.
Hello,
Yes,
everyone.
Jam. Can we get a visual? All
Sure.
right, everybody, check
I'm gonna
this
have to
out.
wake her up. Hello, everybody.
Hey, right. And if you
Yeah,
have
she's awake.
questions for Cassie, you can put those in. She'll answer at the end after her nap. Awesome. So welcome. And if you're new here, a special welcome to you and thanks for all of you that are coming back. I see Charles and Michael and Warren and Linda, so on and so forth. So today we're going to talk about 7 points to maximize your benefits. And if you have additional points to chime in, we'd love to hear that. In today's environment right now, a lot of people are feeling the concern about like what's going on with benefits and trying to make it work. So hopefully these tips will help you out. In the news that we have been receiving a lot of comments on is this debt ceiling deal, and how that is going to, or if that is going to impact the flow of your Social Security check into your bank account. So at 2 o'clock today, I have there's a video that's being released that covers the law, the regulation. So if that's of interest to you, just cycle back and you can check that out. All right. Are we ready to get going, Jim?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. All right. So I put a outline of the points that I am going to discuss with you today, that I've kind of collected over my years of doing this work since 2006 and the 193,000 people that are here. So what I'm going to cover is know what you're entitled to, records, be aware of what you're paying for. I just had a conversation a few minutes ago, great example of that. Staying up to date, which some of you are doing that by being here today. I'm going to talk about side hustles, extra income, and then something new that we have available for you here, which is how to connect with others. And I can't cover this without touching on the don't do stupid stuff topic. So I'm going to cover that at the end. All right. And so again, if you have questions, we would love to entertain those. You can put those in the chat feature, and we'll go through those at the end. Right? Jam, Cassie?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So first of all, point number one that I want to cover is knowing what you're entitled to. And I'll just use the conversation I had a few minutes ago. Somebody was approved for benefits. Their entitlement date was 2 years ago. They started to get this paperwork in the mail about their upcoming Medicare eligibility and the fact that they were going to have the Medicare premium taken out of their check. They had no idea that they had Medicare because of their disability benefits, and they were freaking out because they can't afford to have the 164.90 taken out of their check. So understand your benefits. The award letter that you receive, I think a lot of people are so excited when they get it, they just look at the top few lines and chuck it. But there's some key information in there that will really help you understand your Medicare eligibility. If you were on Medicaid before, it's likely that that will still continue and you get both benefits. And understanding how to use both benefit packages and maximizing those is really the key to getting, in my experience, the most out of your benefits, especially in today's environment. I mean, there's these new benefits like this flex card benefit that's going on, which is $200 a month, $250 a month, and basically flex money that you could even use for living expenses or groceries. I mean, that's a game changer for people. So know what you're entitled to. Um, records. Another thing that's important is keeping accurate records. If you're not approved yet and you're watching this, when you get your award letter, hang on to it, put it somewhere. That's one key thing. And then your medical records, list of doctors and medications and all of that. When somebody goes through the disability approval process and we're working with them, or even in our disability approval course, one of the key things we emphasize is how to organize your records. Like Google has great free tools where you can create a document that's automatically saved and backed up, and you can authorize other people to have access to it. And if you're not familiar with Google Documents, you can go out on the web and just watch a couple videos on Google Docs, and you can even set them up on your phone. So you can organize your records there. And then in addition to keeping accurate records, follow the work that we've done about reviewing your medical records to make sure that what is going on with you is being reported properly. An example would be, let's say you have a brain health condition like depression, and you look in your doctor's notes and it says, well, suffers from mild depression. But in your opinion, it's not mild because it's disrupting your daily activities. Some days you can't get out of bed. Some days you're not able to bathe, things like that. That's not mild. That's more on the severe side. So address those things with your doctor, and maybe he misdiagnosed, or maybe it wasn't reported properly. But it is really key to keep good records, monitor your records. And when you're approved, a lot of people have the set it and forget it. But I expect some of you that are in the group today have had continuing disability reviews or are concerned about it, and knowing your records and what's going on with your health and keeping that up to date. Yeah, it's good. Okay. How am I doing, Jim?
Good.
All right. Finance, challenging with a fixed income for a lot of people. And some of the things that I've understood from others that have given them some comfort is creating a budget. Just a simple budget, knowing how much money you have. And then it can take a lot of stress out of it. And oftentimes you have to say no to unnecessary expenses when you're working on a budget. So that would be the second piece. Get comfortable with saying no, and things that you really don't need. I mean, I do that annually here at my house. I go through everything like, what? Really? And then we just kind of skim it down. And oftentimes we find that, my wonderful kids have have a subscription to something that they're just not using anymore. Look for ways to save money. We've covered many ways. Like on Friday, the last few Fridays, we put out tips on gas, dental, which is everybody needs dental. Even if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, oftentimes there isn't enough dental to cover your needs. Medications is another way if you're paying out of pocket for those. Those are ways that you can do it. I also think that a financial advisor is a great resource. And you might say, well, I don't have much money, and I don't want to pay for a financial advisor. So here's a few ideas for you. A regular financial advisor, if you're going through the disability approval process and you're expecting like a back benefit check that would be, or deposit that would be quite substantial, you could likely justify a financial advisor and how to handle that. And maybe you think, well, I've got to pay down my debt, and that could be right, but maybe they have a different approach where you could negotiate that debt down. Instead of paying retail for it, you could pay a percentage of it, right? So the Centers for Independent Living, which is a resource that we profiled that has different, they have benefit advisors in there, and oftentimes you can get somebody that would be a financial advisor that could help you. So that is one place that you could go to for advice like that for no charge if you don't want to pay for it. Okay.
Yeah. My take on that, it's what I do whenever I'm out at a mall and find something that's very, you know, enticing to buy. I just ask myself, is this something I need or just something I want?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I could probably just look around my office and see that there's some things that I don't need. Um, yeah. Yeah. The minimalist, and I'm not suggesting that that's what you are, but I do find that approach to life uh, simple, easy. Um,
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm always thrifty, but I just try to stay on budget as
right,
much as I can.
right.
Yeah, or I have this app I use where I lay out all of my expenses each month, and yeah, you can see if you lose money or you save some.
So it's like a balance sheet. So it has your
Yeah,
expenses and then you input your income. Good for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Geez, I had to learn about that. I'm using an old-fashioned spreadsheet online. hmm Not for the business. We have proper accounting software. Yeah. Um, good tips. The if you are paying for your Medicare Part B premium, there's a few ways that you can approach this. If your check is below $1,500, then and that's your only income, like you don't have a spouse that's working or anything like that, then it is likely that you can get the state to pay for it. And that's something that we can help you here. If you're a member, you can request a benefit review or contact support. We've found in I don't know how many situations, but people have been paying for it for a long time. Social Security is not going to contact you and tell you that, there's a program that will cover it for you. So that's one. The other one is if your health is stable, like you have minimal doctor needs, which certain conditions are like that, then you could look at a program that's available in certain states, even in Vermont now, that has a Part B buyback. So that means that they would reduce that Part B premium by, in some cases, $150. So you pay very little for your Part B premium, but you don't have all the other bells and whistles in your Medicare Part C plan or Advantage plan, but it saves you cash. So that's a strategy that could work for you. So a few tips there. The
Yeah,
biggest thing, you have something to add on that, Jim?
yeah, especially just a suggestion if you're only seeing your doctor every quarter or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always recommend that.
Yep. Yep. Like permanent physical injuries that don't require ongoing,
Mm-hmm.
doctoring, fall into that category. Uh, the last one in this that I see is assessing or working with somebody like on the insurance side to assess your health and your exposure to a major financial event. The extreme situation is there's people out there that are still on Medicare A and B. They do not want to get an advantage plan or a supplement plan. So if they have a major medical event, they're going to pay for 20%. The less extreme situation, and you don't want to do that, is it financially can devastate you because you have no control over the expense. Let's say you're airlifted or you're in intensive care or you have cancer and you need, surgery or chemotherapy. Those expenses are gargantuan and you're on the hook for 20% of that unless you have it covered with either a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medigap plan. So the next phase of that is oftentimes we see people that are in Medicare Advantage plans that have a high maximum out of pocket annually. Like the most that you see is $7,500. So you have to be prepared to deal with that or negotiate it down, which you can do in some instances, but in not all. So there's plans that have 3,500, plans that have 1,500. So in assessing your exposure to a major financial event, if you have the extra money lying around and that plan is, for 7,500 is really in line with you, that's great. Just be aware of it, because I've found others that have not been. Okay. All right, we have a few more. Staying up to date on changes. That's what we work hard to do here. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we definitely encourage you to do that. Like today, the debt ceiling information that's coming out, things like that we look at in the news. I've been recently talking with and working on the how AI is going to be used for different aspects of the disability approval process and healthcare. So that's something that I look forward to updating everybody on. So just stay up to date. Here, one of the keys staying up to date is make sure that if you're here with us as a member, that your membership is confirmed, so we can get your email into you. And if you're a client that we're working with, either on the insurance side or on getting approved, then we're in touch with you frequently with phone and email. And you want to make sure that you have our phone numbers locked in, so you know that we're trying to call you. Or if you're doing the approval process on your own and working with Social Security, you want to make sure that your voicemail is cleared out. Just keeping things clean and up to date so that you can get through the process and people can communicate with you. All right, next is side hustles. I'm curious how many of you out there have a side hustle. What I mean by that is you're doing something part-time, and even if you're doing it on a volunteer basis, I'd be curious, if you'd share what it is. Just to kind of vibe. I am a big proponent of it. It's 100% legal to earn money, both while you're going through the approval process and then once you're approved. It's less desirable as you're going through the approval process, because you're proving to Social Security, or attempting to, that you can't work. So but when you're approved, you can earn up to $1,050 a month, right, Jim?
Yeah.
And you can keep your benefits every month. If you go over that, then you start to get into some other impact on your benefits, which I'm not going to cover in this show. I've done it a bunch of times. So that gives you some flexibility. Now, if you stay like 20% below the cap, that's even better, because that leaves you, without pushing the limit and tipping any red flags. But you can do well with that, and you can do it as an employee. You can do it as your own side hustle business. We've met and interviewed a lot of people over the last year, and things that they've done, from websites, YouTube channels, mystery shopping, working for Centers for Independent Living, garage sailing, just a bunch of different things that people do. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Also, there's tax benefits too. I mean, if you have a spouse that's working and you're in a taxable situation, you can start a business and write down the losses for several years, and even benefit your household income without turning a profit. You have to have the intent to make a profit. Okay. The last two things are this. Take advantage of support programs, which, again, we're delighted that you're here. And then, of course, we offer to review, most of you anyway, your benefits periodically, so that you can understand if you are getting everything that you're entitled to. We also have a benefit protection program that comes with us reviewing and agreeing that you'll choose a plan or an insurance solution that we provide. And so the benefit protection program when you get your continuing disability review, we are there for you. We help you understand how to prepare for it, how to survive it. If it gets denied, you get access to our legal team, all at no charge. So no charge to take advantage of an insurance plan that we would propose. It's the same plans that you find out there that are available through any other agent or on Medicare.gov. But we have our experience in helping you find what we believe to be a good solution for you. And then in addition to that, we want to keep you on that plan because the insurance companies pay us. So we offer a benefit protection program with it. So that's the next one. Now, last one I want to cover before we get on to questions is this. Encourage you to, whoop, I just have a little technical issue here, folks. Encourage you not to avoid doing stupid stuff. And you might not know what that is, or maybe it's obvious to you. But what is causing problems for people is doing things that, they perhaps innocently think are okay, like even home improvement or writing or renting home improvement items, date night photos on your Facebook page, horseback riding, motorcycle riding, owning any equipment like that, party announcements, or organizing or volunteering for local sports leagues, gym memberships. If you're doing that and you're out there active in your community, and doing it like it was a job or an activity, then you could be putting yourself at risk of being monitored. Next week, you're going to learn a lot more about this. We have attorney James Mitchell Brown is going to be coming to speak to us at the same time in this event, and he's going to cover continuing disability reviews. Update us on that, because he helped us put together that 10-point course that will help you survive your CDR. About overpayments, what are they and how to avoid them, and about the Office of Inspector General and what they do for surveillance on disability applicants and recipients, so that you're aware of it. So I think Jam is having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to cover for her and take some of these questions that we have in there. So bear with me. It may not run as smoothly, I don't expect it will, as Jam does, but I'll give it my best. Okay, let's see. I have one here, unless this is Jam coming back. I think so. Live in Florida applied July 7th, 2022. They have 350 days. Oh, Florida's the worst. At 79%, received a call from Social Security requesting all doctor's visits in the last 12 months. They will mail me a questionnaire. It's more of a statement. I don't know why they're calling you for that, because Social Security, when you submit your application, they know your doctor's list and they can get access to your medical records. But anyway, I would 100% comply with that if that's their request. Jim, are you here? Are you having a challenge? I think so. Okay, this is from Chasing My Asian Queen as well, and asked if I would visit their doctor. Okay. Just want to expand on this a little bit. In our Facebook group, which by the way I forgot to mention, this is a new resource that we have for members to get additional support, and also a way for you to connect with others. So 2 days ago, I put in a comment what is it that annoys you about Social Security? I got some really interesting responses. But one of them was being sent to one of their independent medical exams because they're really a joke. The people, like, you can go in and read the comments if you're in the group or join the group. Um, they're short, they're not accurate. People rush you through it. Social Security hires these doctors and pays them a very low amount, like a flat fee. So you have to manage these really well to make them effective or to defend yourself if they're not. And we can help you with that at the Disability Digest. I'll talk to you more about that at the end. Okay, hello from Florida. Okay, I'm just looking through the questions here. Do you ask questions here? Yes, you can ask questions here in chat. Hello, Linda, back at you. All right, I'm just going down. Okay, how much should I take out for taxes in PA? All right, well, I'm not a tax guy. I know you're subject to taxes and I don't know your tax situation, so I'm gonna pass on that one. You go to a tax individual, but definitely pay your taxes. Good for you for being on it. Okay, my attorney gets 25% of my back pay, but that doesn't include out-of-pocket expenses. How much are out-of-pocket expenses? Good question. So the standard, if you are using a Social Security disability attorney or non-attorney representative, the fee structure of the 25% capped at 7,200 is standard. If you sign an agreement before November of last year, you could be under the old agreement that's capped at 6,000. So that's the Social Security agreement. There isn't any different. There isn't one for 10,000 or one for 4. It's just 25% capped at 7,200. Now, different disability representatives run their shops or their practice differently, and they charge additional expenses. Here at the Disability Digest, we work with a limited amount of people every month, and we just win the case and get the 25%. We don't ask for medical records, office fees, any production cost, any of that. So, but other people can. So it's really dependent upon who you choose and what the relationship is. And make sure that you read any like fine print, because if they're charging you for medical records, that could be like medical records to get a case prepped for hearing, depending on how many doctors. That could be $300 to $500, right? So just be aware. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I mean, if they're good and it's a good fit and you like them, great. All right. Okay, this one's from Michael. He asks a question. I want to rent a room or two in my house and receive approximately $1,200 in income. Great. From both rooms. In addition, if I get a job and earn approximately $1,000 a month, is that okay with Medicare? Well, it's not Medicare that governs this. It's actually Social Security. And you have two types of income here. This is a really good question. You have the $1,200 a month, which is rental income. That's considered passive income. It's going to be there for you. It might require a little work, maybe an hour or two a month, who knows? But it's not requiring your activity to gather that income. So that's passive income. That doesn't count towards your allowed amount that I'm going to call as $1,500 or $1,050 a month. However, the second part of it is you want to get a job and earn about $1,000 a month. That would count towards your allowed amount. So if you pulled this all off, you have 1,200 coming in for rent. You're going to have expenses associated with that, so you want to make sure you write those down. And then you have a job and you're underneath the allowed amount, then you could make that work and you would be fine, right? All right. Next is if I could get $2,300 like Robert, I would be over the moon. All right. You could if you've got rooms to rent. How should we prepare in case our checks are delayed next month? Watch the video that comes out at 2 o'clock. That'll address that questions. The place I live just got sold. Expected a $100 rent increase. So much for the budget. Ooh, housing's tough. Yeah. So good luck. We do have some housing information. You can search our YouTube channel, or if you're a member, just contact us at support. And we can get that for you, like how to develop a housing plan, like what you should have in it, and then where to go with that housing plan so that you can get help in finding housing. Well, I miss having Jam here and Cassie. Must be something happened. Maybe probably an internet event. Okay. Next one, this is from Perry. Information you provide has been very helpful. Thank you. I'm in my 351st day of the approval process. That's awful. The information you have provided has helped me in a very stressful process. Well, that's good to hear. I'd love to hear back that you're approved. I'm curious, Perry, if the 351, you should be through an initial application decision, probably in the reconsideration phase or waiting for a hearing. I'd be curious what it is. Okay, this is from Mark. When I got my approval letter, it didn't state my disability I was approved for when I visited the doctors. I checked for the different reasons. Okay, this is a good question. When you get approved at the initial application or the reconsideration, you receive a very minimal, generic like letter with no medical information, the ones that I've seen. However, if you go to a hearing, then you receive a decision letter from the judge that explains the decision. And if you're approved or denied, they're going to write the decision letter with detailed information about your medical condition. And it's super extensive. But you don't get anything at those lower levels. So I don't have an answer for you, like what they approved you on. Okay, let's see. Oh my God, that's from Kathy. The state of Florida pays my Medicare. Good. All right. Got a few more down here. I'm going to look at this one from Teresa. Okay, this is from Teresa. I want to go medical coding from home. Maybe you mean do medical coding from home. I have years of experience in the medical field, but I can only work part-time due to my suffering chronic. What job training? Here's an idea for you if you want to do medical coding. I would contact your local vocational rehabilitation office, ask for a benefit planner. And I just got a message from Jam. She's having internet issues. She says, sorry, everybody. I hope I'm doing okay in her place. But contact your local vocational rehabilitation agency and connect with a benefit planner and have them map out a plan, and they can help you get your skills up to speed, perhaps assist in any equipment acquisition that you need, and even maybe get you into a job or a position. So that's their function of doing that. And if you're going to work part-time, my suggestion would be is keep it below the $1,500 or $1,050 a month and 20 hours a week. A benefit planner may push you to go more and get you into the ticket to work program because they're paid to do that. But I would be successful at a super part-time, no impact on your benefits level first for an extended period of time before you like, really put your foot on the pedal and go for it, right? Okay. Um, let's see. If you go back through the history of live events that we have, there was we had Mike and Kathy on, I'd say like 4 months ago, and it would say ticket to work on the thumbnail or in the subject line. And that is a deep dive into that topic that I just covered for you. Okay, this is from Tracy. I'm on Social Security disability, I have Medicare Advantage, but I do not receive food stamps or Medicaid or Flex Card. A Social Security office said because of my age. No, not because of your age. If you are dual eligible for Medicare and Medicaid, based on your geographical area, like where you're at and what plans are available, that's one determining factor. If there is a plan available with a flex card, so that'd be one. The other determining factor is your level of Medicaid. There's 5 levels of Medicaid, and some plans accept all 5 levels. Some plan only accept the highest level of Medicaid. So those are the driving factors. If you're Medicare eligible and Medicaid eligible, it's the same benefit package that you would get if you took your Medicare at, full retirement age. Okay. So you got some bogus information. Sorry. I'm not saying from me, from Social Security. All right. Let's see. My something social SCC profile states that my claim, is at 90%. Do you think this info is accurate? Yeah. It's one of the things they actually do quite well. How do you think this information is updated? I don't know how it's updated. I mean, I don't know how they determine. That's a good question. How they say, okay, well, now it's at 30. It's supposed to be the percentage of completion to decision. So maybe they're just down to like, writing the decision for you. I don't know. It's a really good question. Okay, Kathy, I think you can only have $2,000 total in your bank account to qualify for Medicaid. Yeah, depends on the state. But there is an asset allowance. That is true. Okay, let's see. I have a business in which I can control income. Job number of hours per week very easily. Statement. Okay. We're getting requests for Jam to show her baby, but Jam has left the building, and I don't think she's going to be back because of the internet challenge. So you're stuck with me for a few more minutes. Through my employer, I was out of work for 2 years, continued not to work. I lived on my savings for over a year, and I ran out of savings and LTD was cut off. Not good. If your long-term disability was cut off and you're a member here and you don't think it should be, you can reach out to us. We've partnered with different companies that help our members get it back. No guarantees, of course, but we could help you with that. Here's the thing in that situation. If out of work for 2 years, it doesn't say anything about starting the disability approval process, but I think you really need to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, if I'm not able to work, and you might think that you're going to get better, and that's okay. But if you're not able to work right at this time, and it's been 3 or 4 months, and you don't see it changing, I strongly suggest that you consider starting the disability approval process. Now, if you get better, fantastic. You can go back to work, and if you can pull it off and prove that you can work, great. then you just stop your application. You don't spend any money, just time to start the disability process. But if you wait like 2 years and then finally, I've lost my long-term disability and I don't have any other savings, then you're really pressed against the wall. So start the process, right? And actually that work attempt, if you go back to work and you can't make it, and it's like less than 3 months, that could be really helpful evidence for your case. All right, we're going to take a few more here. Some really good questions today. 224 people in the house. Love it. These types of revenue streams are easily accommodated. Okay, gotcha. Statement. All right, Tina. Awaiting ALJ hearing, and I have new doctors since the last process my appeal. Should my lawyer be getting? Yes. So what your lawyer should be doing, or non-attorney representative, is they should be requesting your medical records from your treating sources, past and present, and make sure that the record is up to date. So here's how that will kind of flow. Social Security would have put medical records into the file. That's their job at the first stage. So when your case goes to hearing, they don't do that, right? So let's say that there's been 24 months since the medical records at Social Security put in your initial application. Your representative, attorney, non-attorney, wants to pick up from when those stopped all the way up to now. So there's a complete, continuous medical history. That's their job. We have a wait for what to do while you wait for your disability hearing. It's a part of our disability approval course that I'll talk a bit about at the end. But if you join us or you are a member, encourage you to reach out to us and we'll enroll you in the segment that teaches you what to do right now to prepare for your hearing. You'll learn about more about that, and also like questions about like what you're going to be asked, and other things like what should your legal team be doing now. Okay. Moving out of Florida to a more affordable Georgia. Bought a ranch home, single floor, currently have stairs. How do I change address with Social Security? How do I change my Medicare Advantage plan? Okay. Changing the address with Social Security, I believe they just put that feature on ssa.gov. You go there and you go down and there's a feature. I remember advising people of that. Changing your Medicare plan, the plans that are going to be available in Georgia are likely different. Well, they will be different than they are in Florida. So you can go to medicare.gov and look, or you can contact the company that you have, or you can reach out to us and request a benefit review, or just send that very message that you have right there to support at the Disability Digest, and we can review the options for you and help you understand what you're entitled to. And if you go forward with it, then that gets you into the benefit protection plan as an additional benefit. So that's something that you can do. My administrative law hearing was in early January. They asked for more records in March. A couple of weeks ago, I started getting daily job local emails. What do you think? I don't see the connection. I think it's taking them a long time. If you had a hearing in January, that should be done and dusted by now. So I would contact the hearing office. You're probably using a disability representative. I would contact your representative and ask these questions. Say, when was the last time that you spoke to the disability, to the hearing office, right? And what information is missing to hold up the decision process? So here's what happens. Judge has the hearing. If there's missing information, they're waiting for it. When that missing information comes in, Judge has everything to make the decision. He makes the decision, then he sends his decision off to a decision writer. That could take 2 to 3 weeks. Decision writer writes the decision, goes back to the judge signs it. Then that decision goes to you. Then from there, the next thing is you're going to get an award letter. Could be another 30 to 60 days after you receive your decision. Then hopefully the award letter, well, hopefully the decision was positive, that you got approved, and then the award letter would specify what you're going to get paid. That's the flow. All right, great questions here. I'm going to take a few more. Then I've got to be somewhere in about 20 minutes. So we'll take a few more. In 5 to 6 months, I'm just looking through there. SSI, send me a letter to fill out about my past or history. It sounds like this is from RAFA. It sounds like you're getting a continuing disability review. You either got a short form or a long form. Here at the Disability Digest, for our members, we have a how to prepare, survive, pass your continuing disability review. If you're a member, just send us an email and ask for it. You can reply to any of the emails. It goes into our support desk. If you're not a member, you can join and request it on your way in. If you don't want to join us, no worries. On our YouTube channel, there's 4 out of the 10 segments. 4 out of the 10 lessons that we did with attorney James Mitchell Brown are on our YouTube channel. Just search the words CDR. Is there a way to protect savings from Medicaid? Yeah, there actually is for some there is. It's called a stable account. If you had a condition that started before a certain age, I forget what the age is, it might be, I think they were going to move it to 46. But there's some criteria. If you get a stable account, you can search YouTube channel for stable account, where you can put up to 100,000 into it, and it has no impact on your asset level to impact your Medicaid. It's an amazing plan, but it has limitations in getting into it. That's the only thing I know of. There are some trusts out there, but I don't know anything about those or how they work. So, okay. From Tracy, while on SSDI, if someone starts a shoe line making $3,000 in profit, is this acceptable? Well, it's a great news, actually. I don't know if the $3,000 is a month or a year. It makes a difference. But if it's a month, then you're exceeding the allowed amount. Then I would suggest that you learn about the trial work period, where you can make an unlimited amount of money for 9 months, and then you start phasing off of benefits. And prior to this in the program, I mentioned a YouTube live event that we did that had Ticket to Work in the thumbnail and in the subject line. It was about 4 months ago. Go back and look for that or search the YouTube channel, and you can learn all about that. So yeah, that's good news if you have a business that's generating cash like that. I mean, you can, it depends. Another way to look at it is if you're working this business with others and it's a corporation, and although the corporation is generating $3,000 a month, maybe others are getting paid for the work that they're doing, and maybe your participation in it is only 10 hours a week, and you're getting paid X amount of dollars that's below the allowed amount, and the money goes into the corporation. That's totally legal to do. And because you're contributing relative to your income. I mean, the income is not all 3,000. Post-grad study would be dangerous. Well, I've been considering doing EDs. Okay. You know, you should listen to the interview that we did with Liz on our, she was here at a live show within the last 2 months. And for when I mentioned the live programs that we do, if you on our YouTube channel, you can look at the videos and then you can look at the lives. And if you click on the live feature, you go back and see that. So Liz was a disability recipient. She went back to school and now she's transitioned back into work using her degree. So if you are doing it, I don't know if there's any right or wrong answer that I could give you because I don't clearly understand your situation. But if you think that you can go back to work and do it, and you're studying and you're doing your degree on less than 20 hours a week and just continuing your education, then you're fine because that's within the guidelines. Just because you're studying higher ed doesn't mean that it's going to make it dangerous. Now, if you're going to school full time, yeah, that's going to be considered like full-time work. So yeah, that's a great question. All right, I'm going to take one more and then I've got a wrap for today. Let's see if we have any others. Okay, let's see here. Alice. I'm 54, turning 55. I was wondering if any of my diagnosis considered permanent disabilities or not. I'm not sure. My attorney got all my medical records. Okay. I'm going to speak to it this way. It's not the conditions that you have, folks, not the conditions that you have that's going to help you get approved. It's not, well, I should say this, it's not just the conditions to get you approved. And it's not just the conditions that are going to help you keep your benefits. What you're proving is that you cannot work, and how people react to conditions and how it limits them is different. For example, somebody could have carpal tunnel in their right hand and not able to type anymore, and they're an administrative assistant for the last 20 years. So they're not going to be able to work. But for me, I could have carpal tunnel and I can use my voice activation software. I can get out here and talk in front of you people. I can still do my job. So it's how those limitations impact your ability to work. Back issues. People have back issues. They could have a spinal fusion. Two people have the same spinal fusion. One could have pain that's more severe that limits their mobility different than others. So my message to you is to get locked in on what the limitations are. So rather than saying I have X, Y, and Z, it's I'm not able to sit for 15 minutes. I'm not able to stand for 15 minutes. I'm not able to walk 25 steps. I can't lift 8 pounds. I have to take 2 naps a day. You know, I'm in bed for like 2 naps a day, stuff like that. And my naps are more than 45 minutes. So anyway, this has been a wonderful group today. I thank you for the questions. I am out of time. I do need to wrap up, but a couple things in closing. Mark your calendars for next week. It's a special event. Attorney James Brown has been representing disability claimants for like over 40 years and somewhere around there. He is an icon. If there is a go-to person in the Social Security disability benefit world, it's him. So he'll be here next week. He's going to go through the 3 points that I talked about: CDRs, overpayments, and surveillance. And you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. And I don't expect you'll stump him. It would be great if you did. So mark your calendars for that. So if you are here today and you're new, and we thank you, or we haven't heard from you a while, or you haven't updated your membership, you know, watching all of these events and going through the information on our YouTube channel is great, but the best way we can help you is if you go to the disabilitydigest.com and join us as a member. Click the green button, because you complete your profile and that information allows us to understand where you're at. Like, are you trying to get approved? What conditions you have? What information we need to get you? Are you, have you applied and waiting, applied and denied, waiting for a hearing, that type of stuff. Or you're approved, you want to have your benefits reviewed, you just got your award letter, you have housing concerns, you want to supplement your income. This is all information that we can learn from you as you go through the evaluation and few questions. And then we can get you the best information to help you out and walk you through the process. So, and there's no charge for the membership. And we have support in many instances. You can actually chat with people or sometimes get on the phone with them, all at no charge. So thank all of you, and on behalf of Jam, who had an internet hiccup, I thank you on behalf of Jam, and really appreciate you guys coming out here. It's my pleasure to serve you. I hope you find value in the work that we do. Make it a great day. Until the next time, be well.